Welcome to the second annual SoMeDocsWriters. I am the chair, Dr. Donna Coriel, and I am proud to show you snippets from our event.
Working with that outline. So coming up with something very rough based on that framework that I described.
You can just cut it with a knife. And I started getting more interested in, getting my own voice out there. And I think the turning point came when I started writing the newsletter.
The inciting incident, these are all critical pieces of your story arc. The inciting incident is that event which changes everything.
You get this idea that the protagonist is the good guy and the antagonist is the bad guy. This is false.
I have no artistic talent. So I had to find my illustrators, and I searched online.
Again, writing it down integrates it into your body.
Try to do guest blogs, appear at conferences like this, and also be on other people's podcasts. Even if you don't have a product to sell, it doesn't matter. You just say, I have this blog.
So that's 15% of the advance, 15% of any royalties or sub-licensing agreements that a publisher might end up entering into.
So what are we going to do tonight? We're going to just dive into it here. There are, I thought we would dissect it, right? Like the anatomy of a 60-second book pitch, because I love medical pens.
It really deviates from the voice that that people kind of are used to reading. And so when that happens, I feel like I lose people.
Stories are more powerful than statistics, right? Maybe we're not teaching this right.
I think there are things that kids just accept and understand that adults do not. Like, of course, a frog and a porcupine would not be friends.
You know my main argument. Because we are physicians, we actually have an obligation to educate and inform, and there's many different ways we can do that.
Some patients may not want to read about their surgeon having anxiety about operating when they're new.
That's actually a really interesting segue. One of the things I was going to ask about was controversy.
I really like to start all of my sessions with community principles that can be adjusted depending on who's in the room.
Since then, I've gotten a little more intentional about my writing, trying to make it more of a focus. I do get writer's block and kind of fall by the wayside, but I try and make it more a part of my day.
I wanted to show my colleagues, that was sort of my first audience, was fellow physicians and nurses, what kinds of situations our families were living in and how hard they were struggling.
That doesn't happen. The publishing company won't invite someone else or say, okay, now you're the agent, so why don't you figure this out?
You want to make sure that you're saying it the way a kid says it, and getting the message across. And sometimes it's really a balancing act.
It automates it. Like, you don't actually have to list, okay, on Monday I wrote this blog post, on Tuesday I wrote this blog post.
So I just thought that maybe I should add fairies to that short story, and that's how I got Dora's Fairy Forest.
So meaning making takes an incoherent, traumatic event and imposes order on it.
Because I think a picture tells 1,000 words. I think kids love, obviously, pictures and cartoons.
By insane, there's characters, there's something happening. Someone is crying, someone is screaming.
There you have it. Just a few of the snippets from our incredible event. You can still access the footage from this incredible event and also sign up for our third annual SoMeDocsWriters, which is already in the works.